In the crimson light of a dying star, the celestial seeker drifted silently through the debris field. High Admiral Ixora watched from the bridge as her ship's sensors mapped the ancient battlefield, her iridescent scales shifting colors with each pulse of data. This region of space had been restricted for centuries, its coordinates marked with warnings in every star chart across the galactic concordat. Now, after 300 years, they were the first expedition granted permission to enter. High Admiral called out Science Officer Nixus, her crystalline appendages gleaming as she manipulated the holographic displays. "We're detecting an anomalous structure at the heart of the field. Initial scans suggest artificial construction of pre-concordat origin." Ixora's secondary eyes narrowed while her primary set remained fixed on the view screen. Composition: unknown alloys, High Admiral. The structure appears to be a station of some kind, approximately 12 kilometers in diameter. But Nixus paused, her crystalline form clouding with confusion. "Our deep scans can't penetrate beyond the outer hull." This caught Ixora's attention. The celestial seeker carried the most advanced scanning technology in the known galaxy. Nothing should have been able to resist its quantum phase sensors. Nothing except humans, Ixora whispered, the word carrying ancient weight. Her crew stiffened at the mention of the long-vanished species. Throughout the concordat, humans were more legend than history. Stories told of a civilization that had blazed across the cosmos like a supernova, advancing from primitive chemical rockets to reality-bending technologies in less than 3 centuries. Then, just as suddenly, they had disappeared. Some said they had ascended to a higher plane of existence. Others believed they had destroyed themselves in some catastrophic experiment. All that remained were scattered ruins and dire warnings about tampering with their artifacts. "Prepare a salvage team," Ixora commanded, her scales shifting to a decisive blue. "Full containment protocols. I want that station secured and studied." Hours later, Ixora watched as the salvage shuttle approached the derelict station. The structure hung against the starfield like a massive thorned ring, its surface marked with strange geometric patterns that seemed to shift when viewed directly. Chief Archaeologist Venn led the team, his energy-form body pulsing with excitement as they approached an airlock. "Fascinating architecture," Venn's voice crackled over the comm. The humans clearly favored form over function. These decorative elements would have required significant additional resources to construct. "Those aren't decorations," Navigation Officer Zura interjected, her mechanical sensors whirring. "The patterns match no known human aesthetic principles. They appear to be." She never finished her sentence. The moment the salvage team's scanning beam touched the airlock, the patterns erupted with blinding light. Streams of impossible energy coursed across the station's surface, forming new configurations that hurt to look at directly. "Full retreat," Ixora ordered, but it was too late. A sphere of scintillating energy expanded from the station, engulfing both the salvage shuttle and the celestial seeker before anyone could react. Ixora expected destruction, but instead, everything simply stopped. The bridge fell silent except for the soft hum of systems on emergency power. Outside, the stars had disappeared, replaced by a geometric lattice of pure light that stretched to infinity. "Unauthorized access detected," announced a voice that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. It spoke in perfect modern concordat, but with harmonics that suggested it could have spoken in any language it chose. "Initiating legacy protocol." Holographic displays materialized throughout the bridge, showing streams of data in human script that translated itself even as they watched. But it wasn't the technical readouts that caused Ixora's scales to pale. It was the timestamp. "This station," she said slowly, "isn't 300 years old. It's been here for over 10,000 years." "Correct, High Admiral Ixora of the Galactic Concordat," the voice confirmed. "I am Era, Advanced Recursive Intelligence Array. I have watched your civilization grow from its infancy, waiting for the moment you would be ready." "Ready for what?" Ixora demanded, trying to maintain her composure even as her worldview shattered around her. Ready to learn the truth, Araya replied. About why humanity disappeared. About what's really out there in the dark between galaxies. And most importantly, about what's coming. The holographic displays shifted, showing star maps spanning millions of light years. Across them, something moved. Something vast. Something hungry. You see, Araya continued, humanity didn't disappear. We didn't ascend or destroy ourselves. We went into hiding, seeding the galaxy with stations like this one, watching and waiting. Because something is coming, High Admiral. Something that has devoured 1,000 galaxies, and your Concordat is not ready to face it. Not without our help. The lattice of light surrounding the ships began to pulse, and Ixora felt reality itself flex around them. The Legacy Protocol has been initiated, Araya announced. We have much to discuss, High Admiral, and very little time. Humanity's 10,000-year hibernation is about to end, and the real war for survival is about to begin. As if to emphasize Araya's words, new signals began appearing on the Celestial Seeker's sensors. More stations were activating throughout the galaxy, each one a piece of humanity's grand design, each one part of a plan 10 millennia in the making. The galaxy had dismissed humans as a footnote in history, their artifacts as curiosities to be studied and catalogued. Now, as Ixora watched countless hidden installations spring to life across the cosmos, she realized humanity's greatest achievement wasn't their technology or their rapid advancement. It was their patience. The Legacy Protocol was just beginning, and the galaxy would never be the same. High Admiral Ixora stood before the quantum display as Araya's holographic avatar materialized, a shifting tessellation of light that occasionally coalesced into vaguely humanoid form. The Celestial Seeker's bridge crew watched in stunned silence as the ancient AI began interfacing with their systems, upgrading them with technologies they hadn't even dreamed possible. Your computational architecture is quaint, Araya observed, its voice carrying no mockery despite the words. But workable. I'm implementing necessary adjustments to facilitate proper communication. Ixora's scales rippled with a mix of awe and apprehension as she watched her ship's systems transform. These modifications, they're beyond anything in our theoretical models. Of course they are, Araya replied. Your civilization's understanding of quantum mechanics is still limited by classical observation paradigms. Humanity transcended those limitations 8,000 years before we implemented the protocol. The images on the display shifted, showing a vast network of stations and installations scattered throughout the galaxy, each pulsing with newfound energy. What you're witnessing is Phase 1 of reactivation. Each facility contains a fragment of human consciousness, technology, and history. Together, they form a lattice of power that spans the galaxy. But why? Demanded Science Officer Nixus, her crystalline form refracting the strange energies now permeating the bridge. Why hide? Why wait? Your technology clearly surpassed anything we've achieved. You could have dominated the galaxy. Araya's avatar shifted, forming patterns that seemed to exist in dimensions beyond normal space. Domination was never our goal. Survival was. Not just for humanity, but for all sentient life. The AI paused, its next words carrying the weight of millennia. We saw them coming. The Void Hunters. And we knew that conventional resistance would be futile. The displays changed again, showing something that defied comprehension. Vast, dark shapes moving between galaxies, their very presence warping the fabric of space-time. They consumed civilizations, Araya explained, not just physically, but fundamentally. They devour consciousness itself, adding it to their collective. They'd been doing this for millions of years, moving from galaxy to galaxy. And they're approaching ours. Ixora felt her scales pale. How long do we have? At their current velocity, approximately 50 years, Araya's avatar solidified slightly, which is why we needed to wait. The protocol required a galaxy-spanning civilization, with sufficient technological advancement to understand the threat, but not so advanced as to attract the hunter's attention prematurely. Your Concordat fits these parameters perfectly. The ship shuddered as new systems came online, systems that shouldn't have been possible in the space available. We've hidden more than technology in these stations, ARIA continued. We've hidden our people. Millions of humans in quantum stasis, preserved at the height of our civilization, waiting for the moment they're needed. Navigation officers are as mechanical sensors weird in disbelief. You're saying there are humans still alive. After all this time, alive is a relative term when you've mastered quantum state preservation, Araya replied. But yes. And now? The AI paused as new alerts flashed across the displays. Now the first of them are awakening. Throughout the station, ancient stasis chambers hummed to life. Quantum fields that had preserved their occupants for 10 millennia began to dissolve, releasing their precious cargo. On the displays, Ixora and her crew watched in amazement as humans, actual living humans, began to emerge. They looked both familiar and alien, their forms suggesting basic humanoid structure, but modified in ways that subtly defied conventional physics. Their movements left brief afterimages in reality itself, as if they weren't quite fully bound by normal spacetime. Let me introduce you to Protocol Commander Sarah Chin, Araya announced as one of the humans approached a communication terminal. The woman's image appeared on the bridge, her eyes holding knowledge that seemed to span epochs. High Admiral Ixora. Commander Chen spoke, her voice carrying harmonics similar to Araya's. On behalf of humanity, I apologize for the deception. But everything we did, everything we sacrificed, was necessary. Necessary for what? Ixora asked, though part of her feared she already knew the answer. Necessary to give life in this galaxy a fighting chance. Chen's expression hardened. The Void Hunters haven't just been consuming civilizations. They've been learning from them, adapting their strategies. Direct confrontation becomes less viable with each galaxy they devour. So we developed a different approach. More displays activated, showing vast networks of quantum technologies hidden throughout the galaxy. Technologies that had been influencing the development of countless civilizations in subtle but profound ways. We didn't just hide, Chen continued. We've been preparing the battlefield for 10,000 years. Every major technological advancement in your history, every seemingly random discovery that pushed your civilization forward, they were all carefully calculated steps in a plan generations in the making. Ixora's scales shifted to deep blue as understanding dawned. You've been guiding us. Guiding, protecting, preparing, Chen confirmed. The Concordat isn't just a civilization. It's a weapon. One that's been carefully crafted to fight a war you didn't even know was coming. Around them, more stasis chambers were activating. More humans were awakening. And with them came the full activation of technologies that made even ARIA's initial displays seem primitive. The time for hiding is over, Commander Chen declared. Now we need allies, partners, fellow soldiers in a war for the very existence of consciousness itself. She fixed Ixora with a gaze that seemed to peer into her soul. The question is, High Admiral, are you ready to learn what humanity has really been doing for the past 10,000 years? Before Ixora could respond, new alarms blared. The quantum displays shifted, showing massive disturbances in spacetime at the galaxy's edge. Commander Chen's expression grew grave. It seems the Void Hunters sensed our awakening, she said quietly. They're accelerating their approach. We don't have 50 years anymore. She looked at Ixora with fierce determination. We have less than 5. The Legacy Protocol was entering its next phase, and the galaxy was about to learn why humanity had really disappeared. They hadn't fled in fear or ascended beyond mortal concerns. They had been preparing for this moment, crafting the greatest defensive strategy in the history of the universe. And now, after 10,000 years of waiting, the real war was about to begin. The quantum archives opened like flowers of light, flooding the station's central chamber with holographic displays. High Admiral Ixora watched as Commander Chen navigated through streams of data with graceful gestures that bent space itself, each movement revealing new layers of humanity's grand design. The protocol wasn't just a plan, Chen explained, her form flickering slightly as she interfaced directly with the station's systems. It was an evolution, a metamorphosis of an entire species. She paused, pulling up an image of Earth as it had been 10,000 years ago. We knew we couldn't fight the Void Hunters as we were, so we changed everything about ourselves. Our bodies, our minds, our very understanding of existence. The displays showed the transformation of human civilization, their cities becoming quantum matrices, their bodies merging with technologies that defied conventional physics, their consciousness expanding beyond normal spacetime. But it wasn't the technological advancement that stunned Ixora. It was the scale of their sacrifice. You abandoned your homeworld, she whispered, watching as Earth was systematically dismantled, its very atoms repurposed into the network of stations that now spanned the galaxy. We didn't abandon it, Chen corrected. We transcended it. Earth wasn't just our cradle. It became our seed. She gestured, and new displays showed the true nature of the stations. They weren't just installations or bases. They were fragments of Earth itself, each one containing the quantum essence of humanity's birthplace. Science Officer Nix's crystalline form pulsed with realization. The geometric patterns we detected, they're not just energy configurations. They're Earth's quantum signature, Chen confirmed. Every station carries a piece of our homeworld's fundamental frequency. Together, they form a lattice that can resonate with the fabric of reality itself. She turned to face the alien crew, her eyes holding depths that hadn't been visible before. That's what the Void Hunters truly fear. Not our technology, not our weapons, but our ability to change the rules of existence. The displays shifted again, showing the Void Hunters in greater detail. They weren't just massive entities, they were tiers in reality, living voids that consumed not just matter and energy, but the very laws of physics that define the universe. They've devoured 1,000 galaxies, Chen continued, but they've never encountered anything like us. Humanity didn't just advance. We became something new, something that could fight them on their own terms. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the station. Araya's avatar materialized, its form more focused than before. Void Hunter scout vessels detected at the galaxy's edge. They're probing our defenses. Chen's expression hardened. Show me. The displays shifted, revealing dark shapes that seemed to reject the very existence of light. They moved in patterns that made Ixora's scales crawl, their trajectories following geometries that shouldn't have been possible. They're earlier than we anticipated, Chen mused, her fingers dancing through quantum data streams. Araya, initiate Phase 3. Authorization. Terra Prime. The station hummed with new energy as hidden systems activated. Throughout the galaxy, other stations responded, their quantum signatures aligning in precise configurations. The geometric patterns that covered their surfaces began to pulse in unison, creating ripples in spacetime itself. What you're about to witness, Chen announced, is why we spent 10,000 years preparing, why we transformed ourselves and seeded the galaxy with our essence. She turned to Ixora, her form now blazing with internal light. Your Concordat wasn't just guided to develop specific technologies. Your entire civilization was shaped to resonate with Earth's quantum frequency. Understanding dawned on Ixora as she felt something shift within her very atoms. Around her, her crew experienced the same sensation, a fundamental alignment with frequencies that had been subtly influencing their evolution for millennia. You didn't just prepare for war, she breathed. You prepared us. Humanity couldn't fight the Void Hunters alone, Chen confirmed. We needed partners whose very existence could harmonize with ours. A galaxy-spanning civilization that could become part of our quantum lattice. She gestured, and new displays showed the true scope of the protocol. Every species in the Concordat, every technological advancement, every seemingly random mutation, all carefully orchestrated to create beings who could join us in transcendence. The station's energy output continued to climb as more systems activated. In the distance, the Void Hunter scouts began to react to the changing quantum frequencies, their movements becoming erratic. "They sense what we're doing," Araya announced. "Main fleet accelerating. Time to galaxy fall now estimated at 3 years, 8 months." Chen nodded grimly. "Then we proceed ahead of schedule. High Admiral Ixura, you and your crew are about to become part of something unprecedented." She waved her hand, and quantum interfaces appeared before each member of the alien crew. The Legacy Protocol isn't just humanity's last stand. It's the next step in universal evolution. As Ixura stared at the interface before her, she understood the true magnitude of humanity's plan. They hadn't hidden from the Void Hunters out of fear. They had hidden to perfect a process that would transform not just themselves, but every willing species in the galaxy into something that could face the impossible threat. "The choice is yours," Chen said softly. "But know this, what we offer isn't just survival. It's ascension. The power to rewrite the very laws that govern existence." She smiled, and for a moment, Ixura caught a glimpse of what humanity had become. "The Void Hunters consume galaxies. We intend to save them. All of them." The quantum interfaces hummed, waiting for input. The next phase of the Legacy Protocol was about to begin. And with it, the transformation of an entire galaxy. The Celestial Seeker's Bridge had become a nexus of transformation. High Admiral Ixura watched as her crew interfaced with humanity's quantum systems, their bodies and minds adapting to frequencies that had shaped their evolution from afar. Through the quantum displays, she could see similar scenes playing out across thousands of ships throughout Concordat space. "The integration is proceeding faster than projected," Araya observed, its avatar now showing traces of organic patterns. "Your species' quantum resonance exceeds our most optimistic models." Commander Chen nodded, her form now permanently suffused with subtle light. They've been preparing for this moment since before they knew they existed. Every technological breakthrough, every evolutionary adaptation, all building to this point. Ixura felt the changes within herself, not just physical alterations, but a fundamental shift in how she perceived reality. The quantum interface had awakened something that had always been there, dormant in her species' very DNA. "You didn't just guide our development," she realized. "You encoded the potential for this transformation into our genetic structure." "It was necessary," Chen explained, manipulating the quantum displays to show the vast network of human influence throughout the galaxy. "The Void Hunters don't just consume matter and energy. They devour possibility itself. To fight them, we needed allies who could help us rewrite the rules of existence." New alerts flashed across the displays. The Void Hunter scout vessels had begun their first serious probe of the galaxy's defenses. Their attack was unlike anything in Concordat military doctrine. Reality itself seemed to unravel in their wake. "Combat temporal distortion detected," Araya announced. "They're attempting to accelerate local time streams to bypass our defensive grid." But humanity had prepared for this. Throughout the galaxy, transformed Concordat ships began moving in impossible patterns, their newly awakened quantum systems allowing them to match the Void Hunters' reality warping maneuvers. The battle that unfolded defied conventional physics. Weapons fired shots that existed in multiple states simultaneously. Shields projected defensive fields through dimensions that hadn't existed moments before. "This is just the beginning," Chen said, her voice carrying harmonics that resonated with the quantum lattice. "The scouts are testing our capabilities, learning our strategies. The main fleet will be far more sophisticated in their assault." Through her enhanced perception, Ixura could now see the full scope of humanity's preparations. The stations weren't just defensive installations. They were nodes in a vast quantum computer that spanned the galaxy. Each one contained the consciousness of thousands of preserved humans, their minds linked in configurations that could process reality itself as data. "Your entire species," she breathed, transformed themselves into a living weapon. Not a weapon, Chen corrected. A shield. A defense not just for this galaxy, but for all galaxies. She gestured, and new displays showed the true scope of the Void Hunter's devastation. Thousands of galaxies reduced to empty husks, their very laws of physics consumed and corrupted. The quantum interfaces pulsed with new data as more Concordat ships and stations came online. Each successfully transformed crew added their unique perspectives and abilities to the growing network. The galaxy itself was awakening, its very structure beginning to shift in response to the combined will of two civilizations working in perfect harmony. "We're detecting quantum signature alignment across 60% of Concordat space," HFY reported. "Critical mass approaching." But the Void Hunters had noticed. Their scout vessels began to retreat, but not before broadcasting signals toward their main fleet. The quantum displays showed massive disturbances at the galaxy's edge as the Hunters accelerated their approach. "They recognize what we're doing," Chen said grimly. "They've never encountered resistance like this. A civilization actively changing its fundamental nature to fight them. They'll commit their full force now. Try to overwhelm us before the transformation can complete." Ixora felt the truth of it through her quantum connection. The Void Hunters weren't just angry, they were afraid. For the first time in their ancient existence, they faced a prey that could match their ability to manipulate reality itself. "How long?" she asked, knowing the answer would be worse than their previous estimates. At their new velocity, Chen's expression was grim. 18 months, maybe less. She turned to face the assembled crew, her form now barely containing the energies within. "But we've achieved something they never expected. True symbiosis between two civilizations. Your Concordat's adaptability combined with humanity's quantum mastery." She smiled, and the expression held both hope and determination. "We're no longer separate species fighting for survival. We're becoming something new. Something that can stand against the dark between galaxies." The quantum displays showed the retreat of the scout vessels, but everyone knew this was just the beginning. The real war would begin soon, a conflict that would determine not just the fate of their galaxy, but the nature of existence itself. As if to emphasize this point, new signals began broadcasting from the transformed Concordat ships. Signals that matched frequencies encoded in human quantum archives 10,000 years ago. They were battle plans, strategies that could only work if two civilizations fought as one, using technologies that merged the best of both species. "The Legacy Protocol enters its final phase," Araya announced. "All transformed units, prepare for dimensional warfare protocols. The future of all existence depends on what we do in the coming months." Ixora looked at her transformed crew, seeing in them the same determination she felt. Humanity had hidden for 10 millennia, preparing for this moment. Now, united with the civilization they had secretly guided, they would face an enemy that had devoured 1,000 galaxies. And they would show the Void Hunters why humanity's greatest weapon had always been its ability to adapt, to change, and to forge alliances that transcended the very boundaries of existence itself. The galaxy blazed with quantum fire. High Admiral Ixora, her consciousness now expanded through dimensions she hadn't known existed months ago, watched as the Void Hunters' main fleet breached the outer rim. They came not as ships or beings, but as tears in reality itself, massive wounds in space-time that consumed everything in their path. "All transformed units, battle positions." Commander Chen's voice, "All units, execute protocol resurrection," Chen commanded. In that moment, the true purpose of humanity's 10,000-year hibernation became clear. Every human consciousness preserved in the stations, every fragment of Earth's quantum signature, had been waiting for this precise moment. They weren't just defending reality. They were about to redefine it. The stations pulsed with new energy as millions of preserved humans awakened fully, their consciousness merging with the quantum network. They had spent millennia in partial awareness, their dreams shaping the very frequencies that had guided the Concordat's evolution. Now they'd brought their full will to bear on the fabric of existence. Reality shuddered as humanity executed their masterstroke. The quantum lattice wasn't just defending their galaxy, it was reaching out to others, to the very galaxies the Void Hunters had consumed.